Stu Imami, and I'm the host of The Road to Success for Your Highly Sensitive Child. This podcast is about empowering parents of highly sensitive children to nurture their child's unique personality trait and create a path to success. Our podcast provides guidance, insights, and support to help you unlock your child's full potential, fostering resilience, confidence, and a bright future. If you're new to my podcast, please go back and listen to episodes 1 and 2 because they provide information on high sensitivity that all subsequent episodes will build upon. If you skip these episodes, you won't get as much out of this and all subsequent episodes. To book a private coaching session with me, please visit my website at parentinghsc.com. Today's episode is a Q&A session with a very special guest, my amazing sister-in-law and a very dear friend, Taya. Before we start, here's a friendly nudge. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? Join our podcast family. And if our episodes have been little beacons of insight for you, I'd be over the moon to see your review. Thank you so much. Now I would like to introduce you to my guest speaker, Taya, who is a highly sensitive person parenting a daughter who's highly sensitive. Welcome, Taya. I'm thrilled to have you on my podcast, and I want to thank you for sharing your story with our listeners and being vulnerable. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, June, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get started. How did you realize you were a highly sensitive person?
I've sensed a depth of sensitivity within me for as long as I can remember, since I was a little kid. I couldn't find this term. So I found it more recently. And it was actually you who recognized these traits in me. As I read, researched, and learned more and more about highly sensitive people, I realized how much I identify as one. It helped me become more self-aware.
I see.
So thank you so much, June, for sharing with me.
I'm so happy that it helped you.
Yeah, thank you.
How has being highly sensitive influenced your parenting style?
Understanding and, which is most important, embracing your high sensitivity gave me awareness of my child's needs and emotions. I validate her feelings. I try to make her feel heard and understood. I praise her strengths. I notice her thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
So I understand that it helps to normalize and humanize her feelings.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also try to help her verbalize her feelings. Try to communicate, to teach her how to communicate these feelings with other people.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important.
That's awesome. It's so nice to hear that you've learned to embrace high sensitivity, not just in yourself, but also in your child. And you're proactively working to make sure you change your parenting style to kind of match what her needs are as a highly sensitive child. So great job.
Thank you. It doesn't come right away,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
have to learn.
But that's important that you took the time to learn and you're constantly working at it and figuring out what else you can do to help her. Exactly. So that's really important.
It's a continuous work.
What are some unique challenges that you face as a highly sensitive parent?
I would say that one key aspect is the heightened awareness, heightened emotional responsiveness. So while it allows me to deeply connect with my child's needs and feelings, at the same time, I feel sometimes overwhelmed by it. So I'm sure the highly sensitive parents would understand me at this point.
Yeah. And it's the total normal response because you're highly sensitive yourself. So the outside world definitely can overwhelm you.
Yeah, it's also sensory sensitivity.
Yeah.
When you loud noises,
Yeah.
it's bright lights, it's
Yeah.
crowded places. It's too much for you.
Yeah.
So when you try to adjust yourself to this world, as much as you try to help your child to navigate
Yeah.
this world while you're a highly sensitive person.
Yeah.
So it's pretty challenging. And also, lastly, fostering resilience in my highly sensitive child
Yeah. That's so important.
while I'm managing my own
Yeah.
emotions. So that's been challenging. I mean, it's work in progress,
Yeah.
but I'm working on it.
Good job. Can you share a specific instance where your high sensitivity significantly impacted a parenting decision or situation?
Absolutely. There was one situation, not actually one, but my daughter wanted to go to a concert of Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift. And regrettably, I decided not to go because of my discomfort of loud noises and crowded places. And you know how I don't like the concert just because of that. I enjoy the fun part of it, but it's just too much of discomfort for me, too much. So I regretted it, and I'm sure it affected my daughter as well because she's a highly sensitive kid. But I chose my comfort.
Yeah.
I chose my comfort, and I think it's about the balance. You have to find the balance in between your comfort and finding the positive experiences in your family. So I think it's very important. That's why we went to a concert together, Mark DeMarco concert, and it was raining, it was loud and crowded, and yet we still had fun.
Yeah.
And she appreciated that I made an effort to go with her.
Yeah. So two questions for you. One is a question and the other one is a comment. When you decided not to go to those two concerts, did you explain to your child why you didn't want to go?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not. So that was my mistake. And I did not because she was so little and I thought she wouldn't get it.
I see.
I didn't have an open conversation. I didn't have a dialogue with her.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Thanks for bringing that up because that's so important for parents of highly sensitive children to know that when it comes to highly sensitive children, they are so much mature early on in their life. So they are years advanced. I mean, in comparison to a non-highly sensitive child, they're just kind of like an old soul.
Yeah.
It's the best way that I could think of describing it at the moment. So it's best to communicate, even if you think they don't understand it, do it anyway, because you'll be surprised. Most of the time they will understand you. And even if they don't understand you in that moment, what they do understand is that you took the time to explain to them what is going on. And they appreciate that because highly sensitive children, they want the more information you give to them, the better, because they need to feel secure. They need to trust you. They need to be validated. So, and they need to know that that their needs are taken care of. So these are all very important things. So the more you communicate, the better it is for them.
I absolutely agree with you. And I think if I would tell her at that moment that I feel not comfortable going to this concert, that's how I feel, she would appreciate the effort, at least what I'm trying to tell her, that I'm trying to share my vulnerability with her at that moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other point that I wanted to make is it's very important for highly sensitive people to know that it is incredibly I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss for the right word, but it's because sometimes when you know so many different languages, like I know
Yeah.
how to speak 5 languages. So sometimes the right word doesn't come in the specific language that I'm using, and it comes in the other languages, which doesn't help my audience right now. But what I'm trying to say is that you took the time to decide for yourself what's important for you and what you need yourself, which is very important for a highly sensitive person. It's important to know what you're able to do and what you're not able to do at the moment. And so you honored yourself, which I'm very proud of you for honoring your own needs, because they are as important as your child's needs.
Thank you.
And then the other thing is that when you decided to, okay, she wants to go to another concert, I think I'm ready for this one, so I'm going to give it a go. And you honored yourself again by saying, I think now it's okay. Now I can go to this concert and
Yeah.
see if I can have fun. And you had an amazing time and you had fun despite the fact that it was pouring down on you and it was an
Yeah.
open concert. So the rain really
Yeah.
did impact you. And you went home, probably drenched, but you had a great time. And so did she. And that is important because now you've taught your child that you've set a great example for your child that, see, I took care of myself. I did things on my own time and on my own terms, which is really important for parents of highly sensitive children to know, because often we think it's best if we encourage our child. But the thing is that there's a fine line between encouraging your child and pushing your child too much. And so, what you need to do is give the space and time that your child needs and let them get involved in whatever it is that you're trying to involve them in at their own time
Yeah.
and when they're ready themselves. And yes, it's good to encourage, but it's not good to push. And it's not good to force. For sure, it's not good to force. Your child may adapt to it because it's a survival mechanism to adapt. Believe me, I have adapted over the years in every environment that I came across. But adapting is not a good thing. I mean, it is a good thing in certain situations, like survival mode, but you need to teach your child that it is okay to be who they are. It is okay to be their authentic self. And the sooner you teach that to them, the better, because as they grow older, they already know how to be authentic. They already know that you don't need to adapt to a situation unless it's a survival thing. But the sooner that you know how to be authentic, the better you will do in life.
Yeah.
And you won't put yourself in situations when you're an adult that are not good for you, because all your life you learn to adapt. And so adapting is your norm.
Yeah.
And being authentic is not your norm. So I had to teach myself at the age of, I don't know, 50 years old, or even maybe, yeah, I'm 53 right now. So 50, I guess 50 years old, that I don't need to adapt. I don't need to fit in. I need to belong and I need to be authentic.
That
I
sounds
need to
good.
be myself. And the sooner your child learns that they don't need to fit in, they don't need to adapt, again, unless it's really important that they adapt. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't teach your child, how to adapt. That's a very important skill to have. But what I'm saying is that it's more important to be authentic, and it's more important to embrace your sensitivity and embrace whatever needs that you have and honor them. So you gave us some really good lessons here. Thank you so much for sharing. So the next question that I have is, can you share with us when you first noticed your child's high sensitivity, and what were some of the early signs?
Absolutely. Recognizing my child's high sensitivity was a gradual process. So it wasn't just like right away I noticed she was highly sensitive. So early on, I noticed something. It was a heightened awareness of her surroundings. So she noticed it. Common stimuli like bright light, loud sounds seemed to affect her more deeply than other kids. So it was pretty visible. And like sudden noises.
Yeah.
So,
Would startle her?
Yeah, it would startle
that
her.
still
It
happens to me
yeah,
today.
with me too.
Yeah.
So it would startle her. So I'm like, I have the same thing.
Yeah.
So then I start realizing that we have something in common.
Yeah.
Moreover, I notice her extra empathy. It was pretty remarkable
Yeah.
towards other people at a young age.
Yeah.
She was so sensitive to emotions of other people
Yeah.
around her. Also, what I've noticed when she was little is engage in meaningful conversations across the very age of group.
Yeah.
So she could talk to elderly people, or she could talk to her own age group, or my age group,
Yeah.
or anybody. She seemed to be so mature to her
Yeah.
age, for her age.
Yeah.
So that was pretty impressive. So
Yeah.
I thought that she's genius.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that's a very prominent trait of a highly sensitive person or a highly sensitive child, is that they are so advanced for their age. Like, they may speak a lot sooner than other kids. They may read a lot sooner than other kids. They may learn things much earlier than other kids. For example, I remember when I took Alexa to the park, and I think I don't know how old she was, but she was a toddler. And she, like, I would say maybe under 2. And then she read the sign at the park. And I thought to myself, oh no, she probably like heard somebody say it or something, But I saw her, she would go with her finger, she would go over each letter, and then she would say it. So she would go over the PARK, and then she would say park. And I was like, it's not possible. She's so little. But now that I have clients and they tell me stories like this about their children, for example, that their child knows the capital of every state in the United States when they're 2 years old, or they know all the countries on this planet with the capital for each country when they're 3 years old. This is like so incredible for me.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I remember she would say this. Well, she speaks 3 languages now, but when she was born, she was this story that I like to mention. My husband used to pick up Alexa and bring her to the window and pointing to the airplane that was flying by, like passing by, and he was saying, she was like 6 to 9 months old, and he was saying, "What is it? Airplane, right? Airplane." And she would say, "Hava paymo," which means in Farsi airplane.
Yeah.
Or she would say "Samolет," which means in Russian airplane.
Yeah.
So she was so little, but she would somehow her brain was absorbing all these words, all these languages that we were speaking in the house, and she was able to communicate it with us.
Yeah.
So that was impressive, and I noticed that.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Anything else?
No, I think that that's her ability, like this social awareness, combined with her heightened sensitivity to other people, it's pretty unique.
Yeah.
And these mature qualities as well.
Yeah.
And shaped her as a highly sensitive person.
Yeah.
And it's a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember as we were talking, it reminds me of the time when she was, I don't know, I think she was maybe 9 years old, and she had to, there was some issue at school that she needed to address with the principal. And she went in, and the first thing that she told the principal was how she liked her glasses. So, and then she said some other nice things to her principal, and then so she knew how to make her principal feel comfortable with her and engage with her in a conversation that was not very easy to have. So she used the what we call the sandwich method, where you use something positive to begin with, and then you say whatever negative things or maybe hard things in the middle, and then you end with a positive. And she was so little, but she used the sandwich method before she, like, anybody even taught her that.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing to me. And I was like listening to her going, is this real? Like, am I having this conversation with a 9 year old? Oh my God. I mean, it's so amazing that she knew intuitively how she needed to handle this difficult situation, where she needed to share some, not so nice,
Pleasant, yeah. Situation.
Comments or situation that she was in, but she did it in such a way that it would be, a win-win situation for all parties involved. And it was just, for me, it was, wow, how could this be at the age of 9? How could you know how to talk to somebody who's so much older than you, but in a way that would be effective?
Exactly. So I was impressed by it too, to be honest with you. I think it came naturally for
Yeah,
her.
absolutely.
So when she was doing that, like this sandwich method,
Yeah.
Obviously she didn't know what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sandwich method is, but she did it. Like she presented, like she started with a good positive feedback,
Yeah.
and then kind of complimented who she was talking to, like the principal. Then she delivered the main message, which was not that pleasant.
Yeah.
And then she wrapped it up with the, positive thing
Yeah.
again. So I'm like, oh my God, I was at awe, to be honest with you. The same as you are. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. So, what are some of the positive traits and strengths that you've observed in your child and are that you think are linked to their sensitivity? I know we talked about some already, but can you think of others?
Yeah, we talked mostly about all of them, but I wanted to mention that her innate ability to connect with others on an emotional level.
Mm-hmm.
She can offer compassion and understanding to others
Mm-hmm.
in every situation. So I think it's pretty important in her future life when she goes to college, when she have her family. I think it's pretty important. Of course, we are human beings.
Having good
Yeah.
communication skills
yeah.
and knowing how to approach different subjects, and how to talk about them, how to get her ideas across. These are all very important skills to have.
Yeah. I also noticed that she has this she pay attention to details much more than other people. Well, at least that's what I noticed.
Yeah.
That other people might overlook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's a change in someone's mood or a shift in an atmosphere, or in a room, like there is something's changing, but she can pick it up really quickly.
Yeah.
And yes, as I mentioned, it could be good or bad. Sometimes, sometimes she can pick up the negative mood, and it affects her.
Yeah.
As a highly sensitive child, a highly sensitive person, it affects you. It can drain you, exhaust you, overwhelm you. It can ruin your mood for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Or you can understand and show the empathy for another person
and have compassion. Yeah.
Exactly. So it depends.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, yeah, at times it could be overwhelming or frustrating. Like, I have this situation that happens to me over and over again at work. And it didn't happen to me in my early years, maybe because my managers were highly sensitive themselves. I'm not really sure. I have to think about that actually. But I noticed that, as a highly sensitive person, I tend to take in a lot of information and process this information very thoroughly. And also, being highly sensitive, I give it all that I have, no matter how small the task, no matter, the importance of the task. Everything that I do in my life, I give it all that I have.
Yeah.
And I put a lot into it. I put my heart into it. And I know at work, I'll be like, there we will be in a meeting and somebody would say, this is the issue that we're trying to solve. And right away, I'm able to come up with several solutions and present my solutions. And because the other people in the room don't see what I see, that my idea basically gets ignored or overlooked. And then several months will go by. And by then, other people will see what I saw 3 months ago. And then they would bring up that idea that I had. And then people would be like, oh, yeah, we should try that. And I'm like, hello, this is something I brought up 3 months ago. And, nobody was listening to me. And it is frustrating. But I think it also teaches you how to communicate and to sell your idea, which I wasn't very good at selling my ideas. I was great at coming up with ideas and coming up with solutions because I'm very solution-minded person. I want to see impact. And in my mind, if I come up with a solution, then I will have a positive impact on whatever it is that I'm working on, or I would have a positive impact on the person that I'm working with. So I can see your point about being frustrated. But I also see that it's an amazing trait to have, to be that observant and to see things that other people don't see. Because I can tell you, it has helped me so much in my career. It has helped me be a lot more efficient and effective at my job. It's helped me take, my project through and make sure that it's tracked on time and it's released on time. And, even if I get so many roadblocks along the way, I know how to fix them and not have them affect my release date, So yeah, it's definitely both. It can be frustrating, but it's also extremely
but it's mostly
positive.
a plus because I noticed. I don't know if I shared with you. I noticed that it's definitely positive trait because it's a gift.
Yeah.
It gives you this strong intuition when you meet people. Like, for example, I meet people from different backgrounds, different cultures, and then you talk to them, and then you can sense each person.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how to talk to them.
Yeah.
How to relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to talk to them about? So it's these details.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you kind of like sense the person, you kind of scan the person, you sense the person, which makes you more open to them. So they feel, they trust you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I know we are running out of time, so I'll skip a question and get to the final question. And that question is, what advice would you give to other highly sensitive parents?
My advice to highly sensitive parents would be to embrace your sensitivity as a gift rather than a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You have many strengths like a strong intuition, empathy, and creativity. I would suggest to prioritize self-awareness.
Yeah.
Obviously, communicate openly with your child.
Yeah.
And establish a support system.
Yeah, absolutely.
With your family, friends that might support you. And of course, find the me time.
Yeah.
time to when you can go for a walk, maybe read a book. You don't have time, find 2 minutes, 3 minutes, a few minutes to go take a deep breath, just vent it, and just you have to recharge and to find a peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Self-care is so
Self-care,
important.
yeah. And remember that your sensitivity can be a powerful asset in creating deep connection and understanding relationship with your highly sensitive child.
Yeah. That's really great advice. Thank you so much, Taya Jun. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. And thank you so much again for sharing your story and for being vulnerable. I know.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's pretty vulnerable, but I'm glad to share, and I'm glad to share my feelings, and I hope it's gonna help other parents, highly sensitive parents, and parents in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, of course. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to remind you that you have the power to create a bright and successful future for your highly sensitive child. Embrace their uniqueness, nurture their strengths, and provide them with the love and support they need. Together, we can pave a path to success that aligns with their sensitivity. Thank you for joining us today. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. We'll be here with more insights and inspiration in our next episode. Until then, keep believing in your child's potential because they truly are extraordinary. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and stay committed to setting your child up for success in life. To book a private coaching session with me, please visit my website at parentinghsc.com.